I hope that you enjoyed reading the text, How to Teach Well-Being, and that you were immediately able to see how it could be applied either as is or tweaked a bit for your students. So I want to make sure that you got the most important concepts from it, and that had to do with those 6 areas, the 6 dimensions, they call it, um, where we can invest in order to develop our own well being. So, a quick review, belonging and connection to others. Think about how that works in your classroom. Growth and flourishing. To me, that's what education is all about. 3, purpose. Education, again, especially as we have students move forward into their lives. Number 4, engagement. And remember, it's not talking there about necessarily engagement in the classroom, but engagement with life. Number 5, voice. Do we have a voice? Do others hear our voices? How do we develop our voice? And then number 6, the basic supports. And those we normally depend on parents and families to provide, but as teachers, we definitely need to be aware of them. So those dimensions are the framework that we use in order to teach students well-being. But what I loved most of all from this text was the sentence frame they gave. If you've taken any courses from me or from my colleagues, Julia and Britt, you know how we feel about sentence frames, especially when you're not wanting students to worry about the structure of the writing, but the learning, in this case, the well being. A sentence frame allows them to focus on that. So they actually have to define dimension kind of into their own words, whichever dimension they are writing about, and what it means to them. Then, and here's where I would change things a little bit. They have it looks and feels like. I would change it to it looks like, it feels like, so that those are separated, especially for younger students. And then in my daily life, so they have that direct connection. Having them use that sentence frame over and over as you develop the dimensions is an excellent idea. If you teach littles, 1, simplify it in any way you need to, but you could also do just a part of it. So, voice means blank to me. Stop. Just go with that for a while. And then you might just do voice looks like, done. And so feel free to break that apart as needed for your students. But if they use this often, again, it develops that critical thinking, comparing something to something else, like it feels like, and it will develop their emotional well being the Eudaimonic way. Don't you feel so smart knowing that word? So, 2 final thoughts before I leave you. I have always differentiated between joy and happiness. To me, happiness means stuff. Like, I'm happy today. Joy to me is more internal and intrinsic. And so for me, this text spoke to that. We're trying to cultivate joy in students, not just happiness based on circumstances. And then finally, what I wanted to say is remember, you're not a counselor. So this shouldn't take over your teaching. This is meant just as an idea to check in with students. We don't want to focus on the negative. We don't want to focus on all the terrible things that are happening in their lives. We want to build capacity through the dimensions, not not become their counselor. Other people do that. Don't forget. So try this for yourself, and then see if you think it would work with your students. I know that it is majorly going to impact my life and my teaching. Thanks so much for joining me in what's the word? Nice. Use that. People will think you're very smart. Adios.